Good morning, dental surgery. Dr. Fideo, there's a Mr. Lehman on the phone, wants to speak with you.
What are you doing on reception, Millie?
The receptionist has called in sick.
What, again?
What shall I tell Mr. Lehman?
Can you ask him what company he's with, Millie?
Can you tell me what company you're with? He says he's a friend, Dr. Fideo.
Tell him Dr. Fideo doesn't have any friends.
Mrs. Scoggins, would you like to go through now, please?
Oh no, he wouldn't, would he? I thought Mrs. Scoggins had just come down to your surgery, Rufus.
No, she sees the hygienist first.
Phew, that's a relief. What's that smell, Rufus?
I can't smell anything. Millie said she thought we had a gas leak.
We haven't got gas. What did you have for dinner last night, Rufus?
My wife went out, so I made my own. Couldn't be bothered to cook, so I made a steak tartare. Weren't any onions, so used a bit of raw garlic instead.
How much did you use, Rufus?
Only one?
Only one clove?
No, only one of those bulb things. About the same size as an onion. Why, is it that bad?
Have you got a busy morning, Rufus?
No, not really. After Mrs. Scoggins, I've got Miss Wimple for IV sedation.
Well, you won't need any midazolam. You can just breathe on her. Did you read the editorial in the latest PDJ? Saying how we should apply the uplifting success of Team GB in the Olympics to our practice?
What a load of drivel! Even mentioned those who hadn't succeeded being sorry to have let the team down. Does he think I should feel sorry for having let the team down by finally giving up on Mrs. Scoggins' upper left six and taking the bloody thing out? You need to bear in mind that this is the same guy who thought it would be a good idea for us all to start telling our overweight patients they're too fat.
I see more and more practices seem to be moving away from using amalgam these days.
Doesn't make any sense for an NHS practice. I know amalgams look bloody awful, but who's going to spend time building up a composite restoration when you get the same number of UDAs for shoving in an amalgam?
I think it's all to do with concern for the environment, Rufus.
I never understood that. We all have to perpetuate this myth that somehow the 3/4 of an amalgam mix that is now an MOD is stable, whereas the other quarter is so toxic and hazardous it has to be sealed in an airtight container and collected by men in white suits. Perhaps there's a magic elf living in the amalgam carrier that somehow changes it.
Weren't you talking to some people about marketing strategies for promoting the practice, Rufus? I know a lot of practices use social networking sites.
Like Twitter, you mean? Haven't got time for that. Either some idiot telling you he's just blown his nose, or someone nauseatingly promoting his practice. The best thing about dentistry is seeing my patients smile.
What do you think the best thing about dentistry is, Rufus?
Oh, I don't know. After a morning of admin and Mrs. Scoggins, sometimes I'd wonder why I was doing this job. So I'd phone up my accountant and he'd tell me.
Perhaps we could have a promotional video playing on the TV in the waiting room.
Every other practice does that. Patients don't notice anymore. I've come up with a much better idea that will really grab their attention.
What's that, Rufus?
Come with me and I'll show you. Here you go. Would you like a whiter, brighter smile? Then tooth whitening is for you. Talk to our people at reception about new Zoom whitening and how it could change your life. Are you embarrassed about your crooked teeth but don't want unsightly braces? New Invisalign could be the answer. Now you can have straight teeth without braces. Well, what do you think?